What was the most common question that you asked everyone that you meet?
Did you go to jail?
So Michael, we've come to the end of day 2 of Web3 Festival. How do you find it?
It's actually been quite crazy. So I came into this with very low expectations. So, the original question I came here was, are the Chinese bulls back? Are they really buying up crypto? At the end of the day, I'm curious if this is going to actually move crypto up or not, all right? So I was actually pleasantly surprised. There's a lot of people here, first and foremost. There's a lot of positive energy. And you almost see a different ecosystem and a group of people that are very eager to deploy money again. So it's like I stayed much longer than I expected because I wanted to ask them questions. I was so curious about the Chinese community. So I feel like I learned a lot from here. And I feel like it's almost like the mice are out to play, right? They've been starved. The Chinese have definitely been starved for the last 3 years because of COVID and because of the Chinese being unfriendly to crypto. Something that I've noticed out here is like if you see a lot of people, they're interacting with old friends, right? It's almost like they're all speaking Mandarin, so they all came from mainland China, and they're all meeting old friends again because they haven't seen each other for the past 3 years. So you see a lot of camaraderie here, and you see a lot of optimism, and you see a lot of new people here too. Like that's kind of surprising because a lot of conferences you go to, especially like the recent ones, it's all the same people greeting each other, but they're all like OGs. But here you see actually a lot of new players here as well, like people who are genuinely curious about what other people are doing and genuinely approaching booths to ask them for services to be shilled. So I think that's quite crazy.
Getting paid to come in here to be shilled, right?
Yes. So paying to get shilled too. Yeah. All right, so I think that's exciting.
Okay, so I know you talked to a lot of people. You asked them a lot of questions. Are there any interesting findings or interesting things that you heard from anyone?
So absolutely. So there was a curiosity with Chinese influencers, right? So, I think that even in my channel and across social media, people are asking me like, how are Chinese influencers interacting? What's happening? So there's actually a huge community of Chinese Twitter people, and they don't get served to us because, we don't follow. Like for me, I didn't follow that many simplified Chinese people, but I realized there's a huge ecosystem of them. So I started following them, and they're all greeting each other, and I was like, oh shit, like there was a world that I just didn't really look that far into. So that was kind of cool. Second finding was that they're quite active on Weibo as well. So the Chinese, it's sensitive to talk about crypto, but it's okay to talk about Bitcoin and Ethereum. So that's kind of interesting. And this community is like, because in the West, you think that after China banning crypto, that the community is dead, but it's not. It's that they're actually quite active and aggressively investing. So I found that was kind of cool. Second cool finding was that we have Dogecoin, which is called GoGoB, and it turns out that Algorand is RGoB, so 2-dog coin. So I found that was actually quite interesting. Like Chinese, they can name up anything, and I found that was quite exciting.
Yeah.
So 2-dog coin is apparently Algorand, even though I don't know, there's no dogs on Algorand, but it sounds the same. So that's kind of funny.
What was the most common question that you asked everyone that you meet?
Did you go to jail? I was blunt, right? I'm like, did you go? Because like, dude, like
Toxic Mike was out.
Well, it's not just Toxic Michael, but on our channel, we've been talking about like black vans, right? Like the Chinese government, if you're saying something that they don't like to hear, they'll take you away in a black van. So I'm wondering, like with a lot of these KOLs and influencers, if they got taken away in a black van before. And the answer is yes, some of them have, right? They're like, oh, there's a specialized police department called Wangjing, so web police, right? So they will literally come and find you and knock on your door if you're misbehaving. So yeah, some people did. And
I actually talked to a girl from one of the projects, and I asked her something related to China regulations or if you think Hong Kong is a testing bed for China. And after the interview, she asked me if I can edit out that part of the video because she was really worried. She didn't show China enough. She didn't, compliment China enough. So she was like, "Oh, can you please remove that part? I don't want to get arrested or something." But yeah, that was quite interesting.
It's definitely interesting. And okay, to be fair, the regulation is not as heavy as I initially thought. Because I thought anyone who talks about crypto will be taken away in a black van. They generally guide you. I think that's what the police, the Wangjing, they're just supposed to guide you. And as long as you don't fa bi, so what they told me is as long as you're not, issuing out a token and showing that to Chinese people, generally it's okay. So they leave you alone. So it's actually quite interesting. And then obviously you don't want to talk about sensitive topics, but other than that, they're really happy. And the other question that I asked was like, do you want to go back to China? And they're like, no shit, Sherlock. Like, why the fuck not, right? Because China, they know they have to have a foot in China.
Okay.
Because they know how big that market is.
Yep.
Right? So they never want to leave that market. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
The Chinese money hasn't been released yet, right?
Yeah.
Big whales are still in there.
Yeah, exactly.
So are you positive that Hong Kong is heading the right direction in terms of crypto?
Yeah. So definitely so I think a lot of people pointed this out as well. So it's not just about Hong Kong issuing out the virtual asset exchange license services to providers. So that's already announced, and they're going to issue out official license for that. But it's also about the government involvement in Web3. So this is a complete policy reversal because we kind of chased out of Web3 in the past 3 years, right? Hong Kong was very regulatory unfriendly, and most of the services went to Singapore. But now it's like, oh yeah, no, Singapore, the Hong Kong is really the place. So Hong Kong government, a lot of officials, and we kind of joked about this too, because we see like these 50-year-old, 60-year-old politicians coming up. They're all standing stiff like this. Yeah, they barely have a smartphone, let alone understand Web3, but they're here, they're standing around, they're giving face. As much as we want to joke about that, it is a sign. I mean, Hong Kong is definitely controlled by old politicians. It's sad, unfortunate fact, but the fact that they're here and they're actively engaging in this Web3 discussion, I think, at least I'll give them that. I'll respect them for installing, Candy Crush and understanding the metaverse.
And seeing ZA Bank, like the virtual bank, actually getting into crypto, offering crypto account services and having crypto to fiat exchange services is a very good sign, I think, and seeing their booths here.
Yeah, and also I think it's a narrative. So I think the Chinese guys were pointing this out because the war between US and China, right? It's like almost like it's inbred into Chinese now. So they're seeing this as almost a war about, if the Americans are attacking crypto, then China should encourage crypto. We should do the exact opposite of what the Americans are doing. So I felt like that was actually very interesting. They're like, yes, China's stepping up. When we were banning, America was welcoming, and now when America's banning, we're welcoming again. Yes, they see this as a proxy war between the U.S. and China, and I never really viewed it like that, but it does make sense, right? Because if you think about it, ZA Bank is welcoming and becoming a settlement bank for crypto is a direct response for the Americans who just shut down two big settlement banks, right? Signature and Silvergate, and Silicon Valley Bank that was very crypto friendly. So these were settlement banks that were based in America, and then ZA Bank, regulated bank in Hong Kong, coming in and saying, yeah, you know what? We see those guys chasing crypto away. Now we're going to welcome them. So I feel like this is Asia stepping up.
Yeah. It's great to see that. And
awesome.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun at this conference as well.
Awesome. I hope you learned a lot.
Yeah, I did. It was great talking to people, and I think I'm overall more optimistic as well after coming to this conference.
You were skeptical?
Yeah,
How could you? How could you?
At first when I came, I thought a lot of Chinese people who came were crypto noobs and amateurs, but then I realized no, they're actually probably whales, and a lot of them are crypto natives. So
yeah, I think you raised a good point as well. So this conference is industry people, right? So it's good and bad. So we see industry people, we see a lot of new industry people, which is great, but we don't see the
韭菜.
the retail buyers yet. So yeah, exactly, the full retail. So it's interesting. So I would say, to answer the question that I asked, are the Chinese bulls here? They're coming. We definitely see signs of them here. We definitely see optimism, but the full retail in China has not fully come in yet. So I would definitely say that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, so guys, I really hope you enjoyed this content. We're going to do more. Natalie did a really good job. She was like one of our first times interviewing people, and it's been very pleasant. So make sure you subscribe to Crypto Squad
And Boxmining.
and Boxmining. Cheers.
Thank you.